Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're watching this, you've made it to the beginning of week 1, and this is my week 1 MindEdge slash Brightspace orientation video. If you get through week 1, you've gotten through the hardest part, because I think orienting ourselves to how the course is delivered online and where everything goes and is it's unwieldy just at the beginning because you're not used to those processes, but once you get used to it, it will become quite easy. Okay. So if you're logging into one of my class sections, all you have to do is go to course menu, learning modules, and week 1, you will click, once you have registered for MindEdge, which I went over in the overview welcome announcement video, you can then just click on module 1, and once you've registered, the module itself in MindEdge will pop open. You'll go through and you have 6 assignments for the week. You could do a few a day. I would not recommend doing them all in one day. I would definitely pace myself, right? So you click on the first one. It's a video looking closer to everyday life. So you'll watch this video, you'll read the content here, and you'll notice as well that once this is done, you move in sequence from 1-1 to 1-2. 1-2 is a discussion moment of critical thinking in real life. So you will notice that every major assignment that's graded, see where it says graded, and see where it says graded. This one runs a little long, but it should say graded at the end. All of the graded assignments are actually not inside the readings. This is just the overview of it. You'll find it by going back into your course menu. So we'll go back to the course menu and go back to sort of your main landing page, and then you pull down the whole course menu. You can go into learning modules. Again, you're not going right back into MindSpace, but you'll notice right here within module 1, you'll see the 1-2 discussion moment of critical thinking in real life. If you try to log on too early, you won't have access to this discussion, but for the discussion, you just click on it. You'll see directions in here again, and you'll see start a new thread. So you will post for any discussion. Those are due on Thursdays, and then everything else is due Sunday, right? So discussion main post Thursday, discussion responses by Sunday. And of course, you can do that a little bit earlier. And then you're writing notes, which is exercise 1-6. This is due on Sunday. Everything else you just sort of do its completion. You do it as you go. So the 1-2 discussion, directions in more detail, say this. Introduce yourself to the class, include your major and anything you'd like to share. It's nice to know who we're working together with the semester to form that sense of community and to make it easier to talk to everybody, right? So a paragraph of a little bit of discussion about yourself. And then your job is to create an initial post and 2 classmate responses. The initial post will cover this. Consider a time in your life when you had to look at something a little closer to make sense of it. This moment might focus on a document, a longer piece of writing, a piece of art, a billboard, an important decision that you had to make. Let's see. Use rich description and detail to describe the moment. Explain your method of examining the moment and what you discovered as a result. I've seen a lot of students talk about deciding to come back to school, talk about setting a budget, talk about leaving an abusive relationship. They'll talk about helping one of their children through getting diagnosed with maybe a learning disability. I've seen a lot of really interesting discussions here, right? And it can run from something more simple to a complex content. It's up to you to choose what you want to discuss and analyze. Okay? Explain how you examined the moment and what you discovered as a result of that analysis. And in your response, what is your reaction to the way your classmates made sense of something in their life? And would you have approached it the same way? Would you have tried something else? Did it make you think of new ideas? Just prepare an opportunity. I'm looking for full in-depth responses. Normally, these paragraphs are 5 to 8 sentences in depth. It could be a little bit longer, certainly depending on what you're talking about. But that's a good rule of thumb. That's good practice. Here are the directions, okay? For each discussion, you have one in weeks 1, 6, and 8. Create an initial post with 2 responses. And while the responses aren't due till Sunday, you're more than welcome to post earlier. Okay. let's see, you will write a post of 1 to 2 paragraphs. You will respond to that post by 11:59 Thursday Eastern Standard Time. So if you live on the West Coast, you have to adjust back to by 8:59 p.m. Okay. In modules 2 through 8, you can respond in your time zone, but please make note in the comment that like of your time zone right at the top, so I make sure not to penalize you. Okay. For your responses to classmates, and you can use this table. Remember, every assignment has a rubric. A rubric is just a simple grading table that tells you the value, like out of 100% of each element that your professor is grading it for. Comprehension. Did you develop an initial post with an organized, clear point of view, an idea using rich and significant detail, using adequate organization and detail, with a point of view but some gaps in organization, and so forth. You know, if something is complex, maybe you break it up into multiple paragraphs, or maybe you sequence it like in time, a chronological first, second, you know, with like ordinal transitional words. We can use all of that for organization, right? Did you submit it on time? Did you engage fully with your classmates? And at the sentence level, how did that writing look? So you'll have an opportunity to have these rubrics along with every discussion and major assignment. You'll see that there's one in writing assignment 1-6 as well. So you'll get a chance to sort of go over that. Note that once you move from the 1-2 discussion, you can move into there's some readings that you want to do. You've got some assignment readings here. So this is basically, quote unquote, your course book. You've got your activity, which is a reading selection. You'll choose just one of those 3 main readings that are listed on the page. And now an introduction to academic support. So you can find out how to reach out to the tutors and so on and so forth if you find that my office hours are not a good time for you to work with your professor. And then the writing notes. These notes are based off of the reading that you chose to do your critical analysis. And you're going to be careful when you choose your reading. You're going to stick with that reading for the duration of English 122. So you want to make sure you make a good decision based on your interests and based on the text. So you probably will look at them all. Then you're going to actually take some initial notes on the assignment, and you're going to answer these 4 questions. You'll save your work in a Word document. It must be written in MLA or APA format. You will obviously double space, 12-point Times New Roman, 1-inch margins. You will submit this in bright space, right? So we can always go back to the course menu and under learning modules within module 1, you'll see 1-6 assignment writing notes. You can click here, and then I'm not listed as a student. Let me actually toggle over to my student ID, view as student. So when we go back into the learning modules, right at the bottom where it says 1.6, or I guess in the middle of the page, you see you can upload a document. You can find any sort of document like that, and then you'll see that it's there. You can leave me a note if you want to, and then you can click submit, and you will see not just that you submitted it, but a time and date stamp. That place where you could leave a note would be a perfect place in the upcoming weeks if you don't live in Eastern Standard Time to let me know what your time zone is, because it will be impossible for me to go and hunt and find them. So you'll want to let me know your time zone if it's not Eastern Standard Time. And that's how you navigate MindEdge. As you get into weeks 2 and 3 and modules 2 and 3, it'll get easier as you go. But I wanted to give you this tutorial so you can see it, so that you can get comfortable with it, and you can refer back to this video if you have any questions. And as always, reach out and let me know if you want to chat.